I want to give you some basic principles that will help you use your voice more efficiently and to use it the way it was designed to work by nature, by God's design. We have two opposing concepts at work: relaxation and tension. We have to have both. In order to produce a sound, there has to be tension somewhere. If you play the violin, the strings have to be tight. You know, if you just got loose strings hanging off and you try to draw the bow across the strings, you're not going to get anything. So there has to be tension on the string so that when you draw the bow across the strings, you get vibration. Guitar strings, they have to be tight. You know, those lower strings are kind of, they're kind of loose, but they're not too loose. You got to have some tension on the string so that when you pluck the string, it will vibrate. All right? If you play a brass instrument, you have to have tension in your lips to buzz your lips like that. You have to have tension if you play the clarinet and you got to reed against your bottom lip. You've got to have tension. You have to kind of squeeze on it. You have to squeeze a double reed between your lips to create. You have to have tension to have sound. There's got to be tension. The question is, where is that tension going to be? In singing, you're going to have tension. You have to have tension. And it's going to be in one of two places. If you're not singing on the breath, we'll talk about that in a second. If your breath is not engaged to your singing, you're going to rely in tension either in your throat, or in your neck, or in your face, or in your jaw, or in your tongue, or maybe a combination of several, or even all of those places. And this creates problems. First, as you might imagine, it creates a tense-sounding, strident tone. It can be like a foghorn tone. It can be a whiny tone, and generally an abrasive tone. No vibrato, unless it is an unpleasant wobble caused by those neck, jaw, and facial muscles you've been relying on to support your singing all these years, finally weakened with age. A wobble is not the same thing as a natural vibrato. Singing with that kind of tension will wear your voice down and can lead to all sorts of physiological problems. We have a physician in the room here, so if I say anything wrong, tell me. But that can cause, you can get nodules on your vocal folds from singing in a tense manner, and you can have other problems, physiological problems, because that's not how your voice was designed to work. Or you can sing on supported air, creating a balance of tension in the abdominal muscles to send a column of supported air over the vocal folds. That's what we call singing on the breath. If you sing on the breath, the face, the neck, the jaw, the tongue, and the throat can be relaxed and not get in the way of a pleasant sound, and you will have a natural vibrato. Singing on the breath, singing with supported air, rather than with facial tension, with jaw, tongue, and neck tension, is a healthy way to sing and will give longevity to your voice. Let's go ahead and move on. By the way, I heard Jerome Hines in recital in Tuscaloosa when he was 69 years old, and he sounded amazing. When you sing with good technique, you can have incredible longevity to your voice. All right, now here's some bad advice. Bad and useless advice. You've probably heard singing advice in the past, and I'm going to highlight two that I've heard many, many times over the year, and they both fall under the category of bad or useless advice. And the first one is, and we've all heard this, sing from the diaphragm. If you've never heard this, raise your hand. We've all heard this, right? Bad advice. Useless advice. Because the diaphragm, correct me if I'm wrong, Harold, the diaphragm is an involuntary muscle. Okay? You're going to breathe, okay? Hold your breath. Now let it go. That's your diaphragm. As soon as you let go, your diaphragm went so that you would take in a breath. When you're running and you get a stitch in your side, that's your diaphragm. Okay? Because you've been breathing and it hurts because you've been using it. Okay? It's an involuntary muscle. I used to, when I was in seminary, I hate to admit this. I'm going to erase this part. There was a woman at my seminary who did aerobics classes one night a week. And it was like Christian aerobics. Yeah. Anyway, and so it was like to Christian music, and she was real cheesy. Anyway, but she would do that thing that aerobics instructors do. And, as we're out there huffing and puffing, and she says, "Don't forget to breathe." Okay. I have forgotten my keys. I have forgotten my cell phone. I have forgotten to take my medicine. I have never in my life forgotten to breathe. The diaphragm is an involuntary muscle. The question is are you connecting your breath to your singing? Okay? When you use good breath support, it's the abdominal muscles, and you can control those. It's the abdominal muscles and to an extent the intercostal muscles that you're using for support, not the diaphragm. Okay, here's another one. Drop your jaw. You heard that one before? Drop your jaw. I used to have choir directors say, you should be able to fit 2 or 3 fingers, Well, first of all, not everybody's mouth is the same size. Okay? Bad advice and potentially harmful because it creates what I call the Muppet effect. You think about Kermit the Frog or like the Cookie Monster, and when their mouth is open, it's really small in the back and it's open wide in the front. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be Kermit the Frog. Well, you don't want to. Do you want to sing like Kermit the Frog? Do you want to sound like Kermit the Frog? Really? You don't want this because it's very small back here. And also, if you tell somebody drop their jaw, you could create a lot of tension in the jaw. Okay? That's not what you want. You don't want to drop the jaw. You want to relax the jaw. They're just kind of like Tim Conway when in the dentist sketch when it's just kind of loose. Okay? And you want to create vertical space inside. You want to lift on the inside. And you feel that lift here, and the lift is in the back. If you say drop the jaw, then it's going to be down in the back, right where it needs to be up. So don't drop your jaw. Relax the jaw and create vertical space. I tell my people who are in here who are in the choir have heard this before. I tell people, imagine that you've just put a piece of really hot baked potato in your mouth. Like too hot. You shouldn't have, but you were hungry, right? And what happens? The inside of your mouth tries to get out of the way of that piece of baked potato, right? And you go, right? When one of my children was little, they used to pretend, because we would drink coffee every morning, and he would pretend he was drinking coffee, and he'd go, hot coffee, burn my mouth. Just like when you put something in your mouth that's too hot, and your mouth just kind of opens on the inside to try to get out of the way. That's the feeling you want to go for. Is creating interior space, not dropping your jaw. All right, we've talked a little about singing on the breath, so let's look at that just a little bit more. All right, singing on the breath. Let everything that hath breath praise the Lord. That's what the Psalm 150 says. In Hebrew, the word for breath is the same word as the word for spirit. That was free. How we use our breath determines how well we sing and for how long we sing. That is, for how many years. We all breathe, and we all breathe in order to talk or in order to sing. The question is, are you just breathing to live? Or when you sing, are you singing on the breath? I can tell you that most people don't sing on the breath. We have acquired so much tension in our speaking voices and so much tension in our bodies through life, and it carries into our singing voices. We need to learn how to let go of that tension up here and to use our breathing to support our voices. Rely on tension down here instead of muscle tension up here. That's what it means to sing on the breath. There are several exercises you can do to make sure you are singing on the breath. The first one is singing through a straw. And we've done this in the choir room before. Preferably one of those really skinny straws. Like a swizzle stick, but longer. Those really skinny straws. And it really helps because it focuses your airstream and it makes you rely on that airstream to produce the sound. We don't have straws, so we can't practice. The next one is lip trills and or tongue trills. Tongue trills are actually more efficient. They don't need as much air as lip trills do. But what I'm talking about is, like if we go, or that's using the supported air to go either through the lips, it takes a lot more air to do that, or to go over the tongue, between the tongue and the hard palate. All right? Some people have difficulty doing that. If you have difficulty doing a lip trill or doing a tongue trill, that means that there is something stopping your airflow. There is tension somewhere stopping your airflow. And so identify where that tension is, what's stopping your air, and fix it. It could be your neck, it could be your jaw, it could be your tongue, it could be, anything up here. So just, one thing that some teachers get people to do is just like bend over and sort of like, and just hang your head over like that and try it. So work with that this week. Try doing lip trills, and you do that when you're tired and you go, right? Because everything is just relaxed when you do that. Your whole face, okay? So try to do that, but with sound. Or the tongue trill, like I said, it takes less air. I have people tell me, I can't roll my R's. Well, don't think of it as rolling your R's. Think of it as rolling a D. Because it's the same place that you make a D sound. D, right there. Okay? So don't think of it as an R. All right. And the other one is the NG sound. And this is a favorite of mine. That sound, like in the word sing, that sound. This is part of the Swedish-Italian school of singing that I am a big fan of. And that sound makes sure that the vocal folds are approximating fully and there's no air escaping from them. So one thing that I do is I like to hold that a lot. So let me go to like a G, and I'll go like zing, and I'll hold that for quite a while, and then I'll gradually open to an ah. Zing, ah. Try that with me. I'll go, this is going to be the zing, and then I'm going to slowly open it up. We're going to open it up to an ah. So with me, zing, ah. Good. So that gives you an idea. If you've got air escaping, then there's tension in the neck. There's tension in the throat. But if your neck is relaxed, your throat is relaxed, those vocal folds are going to be able to approximate fully. They're going to be able to come together their full length. And that really, really helps with that. All right, so practice those exercises this week. And I'll put those in the email tonight. And to start to unlearn some neck, jaw, and tongue tension, and to start singing on the breath.